There is something sacred unfolding in silence, and it has your name written in stars. Have you been waking up with a strange feeling? Are you sensing that something is about to shift, but you can't explain why? Prophets whispered about days like this, when destiny moves without asking permission. This October 10th, a spiritual gate will open, and someone or something is coming to guide you. Baba Vanga once said, "When the soul trembles at dawn, fate is already walking toward you." Stay with me, Taurus, because before the day turns, a revelation will reach your door. And if you're not listening, you might miss the most important message of your year. What if the pain you've been carrying was never a punishment, but a preparation? What if the silence was actually your soul getting ready to hear the truth? And what if tomorrow, October 10th, isn't just another day, but a turning point written in your stars? Sit down with me, child of Earth. There is no rush here. Take a breath, deep, slow, honest, because what I'm about to reveal cannot be rushed. These cards did not come lightly today. I shuffled slowly, like someone kneading sacred bread, letting the wisdom rise. And from that stillness came 3 messages, not as predictions, but as calls to awaken. The star, the wheel of fortune, the 8 of cups. The star appeared first, luminous, healing, ancient. And with it, I saw a golden halo wrapping around your shoulders, breathing life into the places worn out by silent endurance. Taurus, how many times have you clenched your jaw just to keep going? How many mornings has your body moved forward while your spirit stayed behind asking for rest? This is not fantasy. The star brings real, honest healing. It touches what you've hidden. It unties the emotional knots you've learned to carry alone. And this healing is not a random reward. It is the natural consequence of your unwavering love, your discipline, your quiet loyalty. But while this peace begins to pour in, the wheel turns, and that's where the sky changes. The wheel of fortune doesn't ask permission. It brings a sudden call, a message, a twist. October 10th, 2025 is not just another page on the calendar. It is a spiritual portal opening before you. And what enters through it is not here to take from you. It's here to place you where you were always meant to be. This might look like a phone call you weren't expecting, a message that reopens a door you thought was sealed, a chance you had already buried, or a whisper from someone whose name still stings to say out loud. But when it comes, you will feel it first in your body, like a tremor of truth shaking your core. And that's when the 8 of Cups speaks, gently but firmly. It doesn't scare you. It awakens you. It invites you to release what no longer gives life. A place, a role, a relationship, a pattern. Yes, Taurus, I know you build with care. I know you hold on because you honor what you've invested in. But tell me, sacred soul, are you still being nourished by what you're holding on to? Or are you simply tired from carrying what's already dried out? The 8 of Cups shows you walking away, not in defeat, but in dignity. You're not abandoning your past. You're honoring it by letting it rest. And in that movement, something else stirs. If you're still here, listening with an open heart, this is your moment to plant a sacred seed. Write this in the comments and speak it aloud with courage. I release what drains me and receive the divine shift my soul has been waiting for. Say it once for your past. Say it again for your present. Say it a 3rd time for the future that now begins. And if this message resonated deep in your chest, leave your hype on this video. Like, share, and if you feel called, become a member of this channel. Every hype you offer strengthens this spiritual energy, helps this space grow, and brings light to others who need to hear this message just as much as you did. Let me ask you this, Taurus. What would you do if someone from your past, someone you never fully said goodbye to, returned with something that was always meant to be yours? Because that's what I see now. A vibration, a presence, a memory that was never completely buried. This isn't about nostalgia or rewriting old stories. It's about a missing piece. Something left unsaid, undone, unhealed, coming back, not to repeat itself, but to complete a deeper purpose. You may start sensing it already, a name that suddenly echoes in your thoughts, a dream that feels more like a message than a memory, a moment that left a scar, now returning as a sign. Who is it? Why now? Because you're finally ready to face what once hurt without needing it to hurt anymore. Because you're vibrating on a new frequency, and what's meant to meet you there is being pulled by your growth. But be clear, this return doesn't mean reunion. Sometimes the soul doesn't seek to hold, it seeks to understand. So when this figure appears, whether in person, in a message, or in pure energy, listen carefully. The universe is not asking you to repeat a cycle. It's giving you a chance to close it with peace. Can you receive what comes without attachment? Can you speak your truth without fear of reaction? Can you walk away, not in anger, but in clarity? Because that is your test now. And just when the past tries to whisper its last words, someone else steps in. Someone who hasn't spoken before, but has been watching silently. Their energy feels strong, resourceful, aligned. They come not to save you, but to assist you, not to control, but to support. This person is like a key you didn't know you were missing, a mentor, a connector, a guide disguised as a human. You'll recognize them instantly, not by their words, but by how your nervous system relaxes in their presence. Think back, Taurus. Who, in recent days, has offered their support without asking for anything in return? Who has shown up in small ways that felt like big reliefs? This is not coincidence. This is divine choreography, because even the strongest need a shoulder sometimes. Even you, the steady oak, are allowed to lean. This alliance is sacred. It opens doors, it lifts burdens, and it reminds you, strength is not only in endurance, it is also in receiving. And in the midst of all this movement, 3 numbers pulse like hidden codes from the universe. 9, 4, 1. The 9 whispers of long-awaited closure, the endings that make room for the real beginning. The 4 grounds your feet on steady earth, giving you structure and protection. The 1 ignites your fire again, not to return to who you were, but to birth who you're becoming. Do you feel the sequence? Closure, foundation, genesis. The emotional clutter is leaving, and in its place, a quiet joy begins to take shape, the kind you feel in a soft smile at the end of a day where something finally clicked. I see a private celebration, not loud, but meaningful. A message that makes your chest rise with hope, a small gesture from someone who truly sees you, or a door that creaks open after you stop knocking. But here's where it gets even deeper. There's someone who has been walking beside you in silence, not in this realm, but in the one beyond. A soul who once lived here, and who now visits in fragrances, songs, flickering lights, or dreams so vivid you wake up remembering more than imagining. This presence comes not to disturb, but to guide, to remind you that even when you feel alone, you are deeply protected. You are being watched over, even when no one else understands your journey. And as this portal opens on October 10th, that veil between worlds will thin, allowing messages from beyond to find their way to you. Taurus, your life is shifting from within, not with force, but with divine timing, the kind that rearranges everything slowly until it all makes sense. Taurus, do you ever feel tired without reason, like something is pulling at your spirit, even when your day was calm? Have you walked into rooms that felt heavy, or talked to someone and left with a strange sadness that wasn't yours? This isn't imagination, it's energetic residue, it's spiritual weight from cords you didn't consciously tie, but that were formed through exposure, emotional exchange, and sometimes through trust that was misplaced. Yes, there are energies attached to you that don't belong, and no, not all of them are malicious. Some are just old, worn-out connections that have stayed longer than they should. Some of these cords were formed in love, but now bind you in confusion. Others came through guilt, through unresolved words, or through silent obligations you've carried for years. And here's the truth you need to hear. You don't need to keep bleeding for stories you've already outgrown. The upcoming energetic window on October 10th isn't just about receiving, it's also about cleansing, because no new blessing can fully land in a vessel already full of dust. Now listen carefully. You are being guided to cut cords, not with violence, not with anger, but with deep spiritual maturity. This is a sacred untangling. You're not cursing anyone. You're not denying what was. You're simply reclaiming your energy and placing it back into your hands. There is a simple truth in the unseen. Every time you keep thinking about someone who hurt you, every time you hold back your truth for fear of disappointing, every time you carry someone else's pain as your own, you leak power. And this month, the universe is asking you to seal your field. So how do we do it? Not with loud rituals, not with fear, but with intention. Take a moment, Taurus. Close your eyes, and in your mind, picture a thread, any color. This thread connects you to someone, something, or somewhere that no longer brings you peace. Now, with your breath, gather your strength, and with your next exhale, release it, gently. Say, I thank you, I forgive you, I set you free, I set myself free. And feel it. Feel how space begins to open, how your own energy returns home. Because it's not enough to dream of new chapters. We must clean the altar where the new story will be written. Also, there's something else, hidden. Some of you are carrying ancestral contracts, pacts made long ago, sometimes by your lineage, sometimes by your soul in past incarnations, that kept you tied to cycles of struggle, scarcity, silence. Taurus, you were not born to carry burdens that were never yours. You were born to break what others accepted as fate. October 10th marks a turning point for that. This is your moment to stand as the last link in a chain that ends with you. To say, this story ends now. And when you do, you don't just heal yourself. You heal backwards and forwards. You free those who came before you and those who will come after. So if in the coming days you feel more emotional than usual, if you cry without knowing why, if memories resurface, if your dreams become strange or vivid, don't run. This is not collapse. This is clearing. You are releasing lifetimes of residue. You are making room for a higher version of yourself to take root in the present. Let this be your sacred reminder. You do not owe your energy to anyone who doesn't honor it. You do not have to explain your healing. You do not have to hold every broken piece. You are allowed to walk away, not because you're cruel, but because you're finally ready to live clean, clear, and true. Now that you've made space, now that cords have been cut and old weight has begun to dissolve, something begins to move toward you, and it will arrive with clarity. There will be no confusion. No mixed signals, no questioning if it's for you. It might come in a message, a job offer, a conversation overheard at the right moment, a sudden opportunity that fits so perfectly. It feels orchestrated, because it is. The universe always speaks loudest after we've emptied what no longer serves. And here's what's most important about this confirmation. It won't just look right. It will feel like truth in your bones. You'll feel it in your gut, in that sacred spot beneath your ribs. It will feel like a full breath after a long time of holding your lungs half empty. You won't need to explain why it matters. You'll just know that it does. Taurus, this isn't just about a shift. It's about alignment. The moment when your outer world finally begins to reflect the inner healing you've done in silence. And when it happens, you'll realize it was never about the thing you thought you wanted. It was about becoming someone who could receive something better. This is where the magic unfolds, where destiny shows its real shape. You may even hear someone say something like, I don't know why, but I feel like I should tell you this. Or, I wasn't planning to do this, but I think this belongs to you. Those are not coincidences. That is confirmation. And when it comes, don't shrink, don't brush it off. Receive it with both hands and with a grounded heart. Because what's being offered now is not just a gift, it's evidence. Proof that your faith was never wasted, that your waiting wasn't empty. that your tears, your boundaries, your healing, all of it was building this moment. But listen, this new path will ask something of you too. It will ask that you no longer second-guess yourself. It will ask that you trust what you feel more than what others think. It will ask that you walk forward, even if no one claps, even if no one understands. Because now, the only permission you need is from your own soul. You are no longer walking with uncertainty. You are walking with activation. You have stepped into a timeline that responds not to fear, but to resonance, not to scarcity, but to alignment. And that's why the universe has chosen to move now, because you finally matched the frequency of what has always been waiting for you. Taurus, let's pause for a moment, not to look back, but to feel the ground beneath you now. Can you sense it? That subtle shift in the air, the quiet space in your heart where anxiety used to live. That's what alignment feels like. You didn't just survive a chapter, you rewrote it. You allowed the pain to shape wisdom. You let go of the noise to hear your soul's voice. You turned walls into thresholds. And now the final piece arrives, but it won't come wrapped in glitter. It won't shout for attention, because the most sacred rewards come gently, as whispers, not fireworks. Here's what I see now. Your energy is being anointed. You are becoming the version of yourself that no longer doubts your worth. The version that doesn't chase, doesn't settle, doesn't shrink. You're stepping into a timeline where people meet you at your level or step aside. Opportunities arrive because you're ready, not because you begged. Joy becomes your compass, not a distant goal. This is your true reward, Taurus. Not just something you get, but someone you become. Because now, when love arrives, it finds you whole. When abundance flows, it meets a vessel that can contain it. When purpose knocks, you answer without apology. Let me say this clearly. You are no longer here to prove yourself. You are here to express yourself. You are no longer in survival mode. You are in sacred creation mode. And this shift, it's permanent because it was earned, because it was chosen. Even when you didn't see the map, you kept walking. Even when the door didn't open, you still knocked. Even when the silence echoed, you listened deeper. That is devotion. That is strength. That is why the divine calls you now and says, you are ready. Now, Taurus, it's time to seal this sacred journey with a decree, one born from the soil of your transformation. Write this in the comments and speak it aloud with your full heart. I am no longer waiting for my life to begin. I am living it now, guided, grounded, and fully awakened. This decree is a vibration. It is your yes to the universe. It opens the path, protects your steps, and declares that your light is here to stay. Now, if this message touched you, if something in your soul said, "This is for me," then share your hype with this video. Like, comment, and if your spirit feels called, become a member of this channel. Each hype you share amplifies the sacred field around this message, helps this spiritual space grow, and brings light to others who are still walking in silence, waiting for a sign. Taurus, your season of silence has ended. You are now heard, seen, remembered by the divine and by yourself. Go forward with the knowing that something extraordinary has already begun, and so it is.